Leonidas Aranor and the Brave Lion, a Fair Tale by Leandros. Once upon a time, there was a smart boy called Leonidas Aranor. He was on the way to see his assistant Lex Luthor when he decided to take a shortcut to Dark Park. He wasn't long before Leonidas got lost. He looked around, but all he could see were trees. Nervous, he fell into his bag for his favorite toy, Mr. Lawn. But Mr. Lawn was nowhere to be found. Leonidas began to panic. He felt sure he had packed Mr. Lawn. To make matters worse, he was starting to feel hungry. Unexpectedly, he saw Brave Lion dressed in a red cape, disappearing into the trees. Oh, odd, thought Leonidas, for that want of anything better to do, he decided to follow the peculiarly dressed lion. Perhaps it could tell him the way out of the forest. Eventually, Leonidas reached a clearing. In the clearing were two houses, one made from tomatoes and one made from hamburgers. Leonidas could feel his tummy rumbling. Looking at the house did nothing to his hunger. Hello, he called. Is anybody there? Nobody replied. Leonidas looked at the road on the closed house and wondered if it would be rude to eat somebody else chimney. Obviously, it would be impolite to eat a whole house, but perhaps it would be considered acceptable to nibble to odd fixtures or lick the oak victim in a time of need. A cracker broke through the air, giving Leonidas a fright. A witch jumped into the space in front of the house. She was carrying a cage. In that cage was Mr. Long. Mr. Long, should Leonidas returned to the witch the my toy? The witch was shrugged. Give Mr. Long back, cried Leonidas. Not on your Nelly, said the witch. Let's let Mr. Long out of the cage. Before the call replied, the brave Leonidas in the red cape rushed in front a footpath on the other side of the cleaning. Hello, by Leonidas. Hello, by Lion, said the witch. Good morning. The lion noticed Mr. Long. Who is this? That's Mr. Long, explained the witch. Oh, Mr. Long would look lovely in my house. Give it to me, demanded the lion. The witch shook her head. Mr. Long is staying with me. Excuse me, Leonidas interrupted. Mr. Long lives with me and not in a cage. Big Lion ignored him. Is there nothing you'll trade? He asked the witch. The witch thought for a moment, then said, I'd like to beat entering it. I'll release him to anybody who can eat a whole front door. Big Lion looked at the house made from hamburgers and said, No problem. I could eat an entire house made from hamburgers if I will too. There's not need to chop off. Say the witch shows it on front door and it'll let you hate Mr. Long. Leonidas watched, feeling very worried. He didn't want the witch to give Mr. Long to Big Lion. He didn't think Mr. Long would like living with a brave lion away from his house and all his other toys. Big Lion put on his beat and withdrew a knife and fork from his pocket. It's this whole house, said Big Lion. Just you watch. Big Lion pulled off a corner of the front door of the house made from hamburgers. He helped it down, smiling, and went back for more, and more, and more. Eventually, Big Lion starts to get bigger, just a little bigger, just a little bit bigger at first, but after a few more forkfuls of hamburger, he grew to the size of a large snowball, and he was every bit as round. I don't feel too good, said Big Lion, suddenly her started to roll. It ground so round that he could no longer balance. Hell, he cried, as he rolled off down a slope into the forest. But Lion never finished eating the front door made from hamburgers, and Mr. Long remained trapped in the witch cage. That's it, said the witch, in which I get to keep Mr. Long. No so fast, said Leonidas. There is still one front door to go, the front door of the house made from tomatoes, and I haven't had a turn yet. I don't have to give you turn, langed Lauch, the witch, my game, my rules. The woodcutter's voice carried through the forest. I think you should give him a chance. It's only fair. Fine, says the witch, but you saw what happened to the lion. He won't last long. I'll be right back, said Leonidas. What? Said the witch. Where's your sense of impatience? I thought you wanted Mr. Long back. Leonidas ignored the witch and gathered a hefty piles of sticks. He came back to the clearing and started a small campfire. Carefully, he broke it off a piece of the door of the house made from tomatoes and toasted it over the fire. Once it had cooked and cooled just a little, he took a bit that quickly devoured the whole piece. Leonidas sat down on a nearby log. You fight quickly the wish. You were supposed to eat the wolf's door. I'm just waiting for my foot to go down. When Leonidas' foot had digged, he broke it off another piece of the door, made from tomatoes. Once more he toasted his foot over the fire and waited for it cool just a little. He ate it a leisure pace that waited for it to digest. Eventually, after several sittings, Leonidas was down to the final piece of the dough made from tomatoes. Carefully, he touched it and allowed it cool just a little. He finished his final course. Leonidas had eaten the entry from the front door of the house made from tomatoes. The witch stamped her foot angrily. You must have tickled me, she said. You don't regret cheating. I think so, said Boyce. It was the woodcutter. He walked back into the clearing carrying his eggs. Exit. This little boy found fair and square. Now hand over Mr. Long, or I will chop your broomstick in half. The witch looked horrified. She grabbed his broomstick and placed it behind her. Then, huffing, she opened the door of the cage. Leonidas hurried over and grabbed Mr. Long, checking that his favorite toy was all right. Fortunately, Mr. Long was unharmed. Leonidas thanked the woodcutter, gave a quick sober, and hurried on two meat legs. It was starting to get dark. When Leonidas got to Lex's house, his assistant threw his arm around him. He was so worried, cried Lex. You are very late? You are very late? As Leonidas described his day, he could tell that Lex didn't believe him, so he grabbed a napkin from his pocket. What's asked Lex? Leonidas answered, a door made from hamburger pudding, he said. Lex almost fell off his chair. The end.